Why is the Yes campaign so invisible compared to the No campaign in the media and on social media? Kerry, do you agree with this, that the Yes campaign kind of has a smaller profile than the No campaign?
Well, it hasn't had the profile that I'd have liked to see it have, but I think that's a question that you could direct to the mainstream media as to why the No campaign is getting so much coverage, a lot of it positive, without, I believe, enough journalistic attempts to strip away the mistruths and the deliberate attempts to confuse with material that is not actually relevant. And having looked at the pamphlet that's just been brought out by the No campaign, I see no departure from their standard operations.
We'll get to those pamphlets in a minute, but Lorena, do you agree with that some sections of the media at least have been, publishing the No campaign line fairly uncritically?
Yeah, I do agree with that. And it's a daily event now. It's quite frustrating for us to be painstakingly fact-checking and when we publish to see there's some exaggerations and mistruths and misinformations that are published as fact. Yeah, it's really frustrating. But just to answer the question about whether the Yes campaign is less visible than the No campaign, the Yes campaigners I've put this to them really directly, and they say, we have 15,000 volunteers on the ground. We're door knocking, we're fundraising, we're doing, school fetes and stalls, and there's all this community activity that is not visible to the mainstream media, but it's happening nonetheless.
Right, grassroots efforts don't necessarily make headlines every day.
That's right.
Talei, from your perspective, do you see one campaign or the other gaining more traction, getting more attention?
In terms of remote Cape York and Torres Strait, I feel like they've been very equal up until this point where, the No campaign has gotten sensational headlines and being shared on social media a lot more, and yet in terms of shareability, those things get shared. And what really impacts, I feel, in my region is the lack of, telecommunications, but also because of bad telecommunications over the decades, bad digital literacy. People, we trying to understand the information that's been shared out there. You have issues with, can I trust this? People don't understand, the kind of, is it current? Is it reliable? Is it from an authority? As you share things on social media, those practices haven't really been understood as much as, down south. You go to university and you have your academic, class, and you understand how to sort through information. Because of the lack of digital, good telecommunications up there, we haven't had the time to prepare ourselves for such a big conversation, and that's really impacted. You see it through COVID, all these sensational headlines being shared in our region. That's caused this big mistrust in the vaccines, and now it's happening again with The Voice because no one's really invested in digital literacy up home. So it's, at this present time, I see a lot more of the No sensational headlines coming through, and that's probably going to be quite an impact on how people are going to vote, in my region at least.